Let's see if this works.
Junk Shop Library's Improv Bible Study. Are you ready for this? All right. Well, I seem to have gotten the hang of this time. Except that cord waggling around everywhere is going to drive me absolutely bananas. I don't know about y'all. No wonder. Alright, let's try that. If it ain't one thing, it's another, right? Well, figuring out how to edit with this new format was a big, giant pain in the bazooki. I have been through so much coffee today. And also found that I must drink my coffee quietly, otherwise you get a loud slurping sound, which is not really this channel's brand. All right, well, without any further ado, like if you've not already, subscribe if you've not already, and we will plunge together today into the 19th chapter of the book of Deuteronomy, having, unfortunately it seems, left the necromancers and them that speak with the dead behind us. So, now I gotta figure out how to turn these off simultaneously. Me, my. Alright, 19th chapter of the 5th book of Moses, called Deuteronomy. Hang on to your butts, it's the Word of God. When the Lord thy God hath cut off the nations whose land the Lord thy God giveth thee, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their cities and in their houses, thou shalt separate 3 cities for thee in the midst of thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it. Thou shalt prepare thee a way, and divide the coasts of the land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee to inherit, into 3 parts, that every slayer may flee thither. And this is the case of the slayer, which shall flee thither, that he may live, whosoever killeth his neighbor ignorantly, whom he hated not in time past. As when a man goeth into the wood with his neighbor to hew wood, and his hand fetcheth a stroke with the axe to cut down the tree, and the head slippeth from the helve, and lighteth upon his neighbor that he die, he shall flee unto one of those cities and live, lest the avenger of the blood pursue the slayer while his heart is hot, and overtake him, because the way is long, and slay him, whereas he was not worthy of death, inasmuch as he hated him not in time past. Wherefore I command thee, saying, Thou shalt separate 3 cities for thee. And if the Lord thy God enlarge thy coast, as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, and give thee all the land which he promised to give unto thy fathers, if thou shalt keep all these commandments to do them, which I command thee this day, to love the Lord thy God, and to walk ever in his ways, then shalt thou add 3 cities more for thee, besides these 3, that innocent blood be not shed in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance, and so blood be upon thee. But if any man hate his neighbor, and lie in wait for him, and rise up against him, and smite him mortally that he die, and fleeth into one of these cities, then the elders of his city shall send and fetch him thence, and deliver him into the hand of the avenger of blood, that he may die. Thine eye shall not pity him, but thou shalt put away the guilt of innocent blood from Israel, that it may go well with thee. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbour's landmark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity, or for any sin, in any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and behold, if the witness be a false witness, and hath testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you. And those which remain shall he... And those which remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you. And thine eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. And there we have the 19th chapter of the book of Deuteronomy. Alrighty. Well, the first part of that, of course, is just the sanctuary cities. Again, reiterating the earlier command that there be 3 on this side Jordan. Remember, there's another 3 on the other side Jordan, where the 2.5 tribes are going to be camped out. Where their sheep and their younglings are already camped out, since they decided they didn't want to go warlording off any further. And Moses says, you got to go warlording off further, but if you want to leave all your crap and your women's and such over here, feel free. We'll count that as your inheritance. By the way, you've got to set up 3 sanctuary cities in case, somebody accidentally brains Joe Bob with an axe. He can go live there. And then there's that whole rigmarole of how long that lasted, and how you couldn't go more than a certain distance out of the sanctuary city once you had taken up residence therein. So, this chapter then introduces the provision that if you... Hello, tree. Introduces the provision that if the land of Israel gets to be too big, so that... No, pardon me, I'm sorry. So that 3 sanctuary cities this side Jordan is insufficient, and the distance is too great for anyone to be reasonably expected to get from most of the country to the 3 sanctuary cities. Then you got to set up more sanctuary cities. Now, the sanctuary cities doctrine was come up with about good 40, 50 years ago at this point, and it's taken them this long for God, the Almighty, the All-Knowing, the All-Merciful, the Omnipresent, to figure out that if you've got a place where you can go live out the rest of your days in peace after you kill somebody, as long as you say it was an accident, there might be an occasional dipshit who straight up murders somebody, claims it was an accident, hies himself off to the sanctuary cities. And this chapter introduces the what to do about that. Largely, fetch him back and let him face real justice. And then there's the bearing of false witness, which I think it's probably got some holes in it if we delve too deeply, just in terms of practical application. But in terms of Bronze Age tribal jurisprudence in the burning-ass desert, TM, you'd probably be hard-pressed to find a more, shall we say, equitable bearing false witness punishment. If it comes out that you're bearing false witness, you get punished for the crime that you lied on your neighbor for doing. And there's no exception to that, whether that's murder or sheep stealing or woman stealing or, you know, whatever. If you make out that Frank did this crime and come to find out that you just made that shit up because you had it in for Frank, whatever biblical justice you were trying to bring crashing down on the head of Frank gets to come crashing down on the head of you instead. And I'm sure within about an hour after I post this up, I'll think of some situation where that's just not doable, tenable, workable, good, or nice. But once again, these are not ideal conditions. This is Bronze Age, tribal, barbaric approximations of jurisprudence and justice. In a land where there's precious little water, even less grass, hardly anything except sand as far as the eye can see, and it gets to be 130 degrees around noon. So I wonder if they got any kind of system. Yo, I do beg your pardon. Wonder if they got any kind of system at all in place. All right. Well, that's quite frankly, that's all I've got on that. Not a kind of a short chapter, and the first half of it, we've already done sanctuary cities on at least 2 occasions that spring to my mind. So we will be back soon with chapter 20. Oh boy. The next quite a few chapters are crimes and punishments. So you know that's going to be fun because those are always perfect, modern, logical, and proportionate in this fucking 3,000-year-old short story anthology. All right. Well, we'll see you again here soon for chapter 20. If you've not already, you may now poke the Pope to subscribe. Saw somebody else come sneaking in without a name. Welcome aboard, number 22. I think that's it. So until next time, everybody take care, be safe, stand against hate. And let me know if this incarnation of the formula is working for you, because I don't know. I could go either way. Bye now.